Okay, hello everybody. Coach Kevin here. Welcome to our Zoom meeting. And right away, one of the first things I want to do is go ahead and share my screen with you really quickly. First thing that I would like to point out, if you're brand new with us, you wouldn't know this yet. If you already are been with us, you already know this. We have a Facebook group that coincides with our meetup. Our Facebook group has the exact same name. I want to be really rich, and I do not apologize for it. The only difference is you don't have the city initials next to it. That's because this is our Facebook group for all the cities that we're a part of throughout the country. So I want to be really rich, and I do not apologize for it. You can type that into the Facebook search and find us. The other thing that you could potentially do is you could go to facebook.com/groups/ I want to be really rich. That might be a little harder to remember though. So that's why I say just type the name into the search. I want to be really rich and do not apologize for it. And that'll probably be the easiest way for you to find us and join it. Why would you want to do that? One, typically pinned to the top if we have anything special going on, any announcements needed to be made, that's where it would be. Um, However, even more importantly, as you can see here, there is yesterday's recording. And if I scroll down some more, sometimes people ask questions and things. Sometimes they don't, but keep going. And you will see the recordings. You'll see questions that have been asked and responses to those questions. And sometimes when we are studying something specific, I want you guys to be able to have access to it. So I go ahead and download the file into Facebook. For example, right here, Hidden Treasures, the ebook Hidden Treasures, which is what we're in the middle of going through right now. So as you scroll down, usually you'll find that right when we're starting, whatever day it was that we started to work on the particular material. So that's why you might want to join us. Next thing I want to share with you is, excuse me, we are in the process of going through a book called Hidden Treasures. Here's where I got the copy that I'm sharing with you. I've had the paperback, I've had Kindle, but I wanted to find one if I could that was for free, so I did. And I found it here at hiddentreasuresbook.com. The author of this book is Leslie Householder. She happens to be a good friend of mine. And you scroll a little ways down the page and there you go. Click here for your free download. You know the drill. Probably going to ask for your name and email, and then you can have it for free. And why are we in the process of actually studying this book at this point together? What we're doing is studying, taking it apart, sharing comments. I'm answering questions you guys might have. But here's why I feel that this book is truly useful and unique. Most of us on here, if not all of us, have all heard of the law of attraction. The law of attraction is the big buzzword that's out there. It's the thing that people always talk about. It's what people say when they're saying, I'm using the law of attraction, which, by the way, that means you're purposely guiding what you're thinking more than you're using it. Law of attraction is always working. But the law of attraction is actually a secondary law to the law called the law of vibration. There's actually 7 laws related to, and when I say law, I mean universal laws, related to you being able to increase your income and develop more wealth in your life. Most people aren't aware of that. They truly don't know. They think it's strictly the law of attraction. However, here's the thing about how universal laws work. I'll give you an example. A universal law is the law of gravity. Okay. Law of gravity, even if you don't understand it, is in effect. So to say the law of attraction, I'm using the law of attraction, that means you have to be guiding and directing your thoughts and your feelings towards a specific intention that you have to manifest in your life. Or really what you're doing is we're all using the law of attraction. We're just not putting out the message that we want to put out, so we're not getting the results we want to get. Well, with the law of gravity, if a little child, when I say little, I'm talking toddler, maybe can walk, barely walk, but can climb on stuff. You remember that age, right? They climb on things. They don't even necessarily walk, but they're already crawling across, couches and tables and chairs and who knows what else. Well, here's the thing. If a child goes up high enough, let's say the counter at your kitchen, you've got one of those big type islands, and a child gets up there and starts crawling, and they start crawling a little bit too fast, and they get to the end of the counter, what is going to happen to that child if they don't stop before they get to the end of the counter? Well, they're going to fall. Why is that? Law of gravity. But you're kidding me. The child's innocent. How could the child, how could God hurt that child and allow that child to be hurt, if God's such a nice guy, right? Well, there are laws in place that govern the universe and how things function so that we can actually rely upon those laws. So the child's going to get hurt, even though the child is innocent in its thinking and wasn't trying to hurt itself or do anything purposely obnoxious. And so if the child falls, it's not going to feel good to the child. And depending on the type of flooring and how far the distance and how they land is probably going to determine the type and amount of hurt the child feels and discovers as a result of crawling off the counter. Well, that's the way the laws work also in relationship to money and wealth. Okay. If you're disobeying laws that actually are the laws that can bring you more money and wealth into your life, but you're going in opposition to them versus using them to your advantage, even if you're doing it unknowingly, like that child that goes across the counter and falls off, you are still going to suffer the consequence. And what's going on in life for most people is we are suffering the consequences right now. Why? Because we're in disobedience to those universal laws that govern receiving more money and wealth into our lives. However, as we come to understand them and how they work, we can either avoid problems like crawling off the counter, or we could actually use it to our benefit. And that's what we want to do, is learn how to use the laws to our benefit. So this particular book Leslie wrote gives a really good description of each of the laws and goes into some detail about them so that we're able to understand how they actually function and how we can use them to our benefit. Okay. So at this point in the study of this particular work here, we are on page 73 of the PDF file. It looks like that is page 64 of the book, but 73 of the PDF file if you want to go ahead and follow along. I actually recommend that you do that. I'm going to blow it up just a little bit bigger. Okay. Let's see where this takes me to. Need to scroll a little to get to the place where we were, I think. Here we go. Okay. So we stopped yesterday at a certain point, and we were talking at this point about the law of rhythm. And there were a couple figures drawn for us. There was this one right here, and there's this one right here. So what do those represent? If you were here with us yesterday, you know this. If you're joining us today, that's why I'm going to take a moment to talk about this. This is most people's lives. This represents how our lives go, and this also represents how we feel, okay, about how our life is going. So we're at a low point, but we know through the law of rhythm that if there is a low point in life, we can expect an upturn in life at some point. Now, if we have a crappy attitude and we maintain a crappy attitude, I'll show you later what's going to happen. But if we have the average attitude of most human beings, this is how our life ends up going, because we're not necessarily controlling our thinking, we're just going along. And so we have kind of a low, but eventually we're on a high again. So we're pretty happy and everything seems pretty good, but we're not really controlling our thinking. And we take this dip that brings us back to where we started, dang it. And we're feeling kind of crummy right here. We don't think things are going to work for us, but something comes, we're a bit more optimistic. We get back up here. Ooh, I'm top of the world again. And boom. And the thing is, we do that over and over and over and over again throughout our life, like Groundhog Day. That's not necessarily how we want our life to be. That's not how we were meant to progress. So there will always be ups and downs. Okay, there will be dips, but they don't have to be big dips. This is rather how we would like our life to be, right? We are always progressing. So we're making our way up. And as we make our way up for a period of time, that could be hours, weeks, days, months, whatever it is, we level off. After we get used to this, which is now our high being our normal, unfortunately to us, it kind of feels like we're right here, unless we actually look back to where we came from in life, because we get so used to it. And we, at this point, we're getting to the point where we're a little bit dissatisfied and whatnot. But if we use our thoughts right, our intentions right, we learn how the laws work and we set a new intention for the next level, then we start making our way back up again. And we keep going and going and going and going and going and going and going. Whoo, awesome. We manifested something that we wanted in our life. We accomplished a goal and we're feeling really good. Oh, but the longer we sit at that level, the more discontent we'll become again. But we don't want to become discontent to the point where we start going this way. We just want to recognize that it's time to move forward again. So if you see the pattern of the person with a good attitude, of the person who's learned how to obey the laws that govern the universe, especially in relationship to acquiring money and wealth, this is more how their life looks. They have some leaps in there sometimes, some growth curves, and they don't really have these big dips. They just kind of level off, maybe dip a hair right here and then start making their way back up. You could draw this in reverse. What does that mean? You could draw yourself here and you could take yourself back down to here. If your thoughts, thinking, and attitude are really crappy about it, then you could totally make your way down the other way. So you don't want to do that. You want to purposely choose what it is that you want and purposely work towards manifesting. And when I say work, the book is talking about the type of work, and we go through other books that talk about the type of work. Most of the work is related to what you're thinking and feeling, and then the physical actions that you're taking, I'll refer to them as inspired action. You're going to receive some type of personal inspiration, revelation, or intuition when you fully know what it is that you want and you've been able to imprint that into your subconscious mind and put that signal out to God in the universe. Then you will receive some answers on how to go forward to actually receive what it is that you want. Okay, so this is essentially what we finished up on yesterday. What I'm going to do right now is keep on reading starting right here. Now, I'm going to allow you guys at the end of what we're doing today time to interact, to share comments, to share experiences, to share maybe some ahas that you picked up while we're going through this, to share maybe how you've utilized the law of attraction successfully with intention and actually manifested things that you want. The other thing that we'll do also is you have the opportunity at the same time to ask questions, which is what most people tend to want to use the time for. So we get some of those questions answered for you. And we give you somewhere around 10, 15 minutes or so typically to do that. All right. So I am going to have us start right here. I'm going to be reading. I will add commentary when I feel it will be helpful or appropriate. Nice sip of water there to get started. And here we go. Those who expect and seek for good things will experience this kind of growth. So that's what we're talking about right here, figure number 10. While those who don't exercise their faith to seek good things may only experience the ups and downs of going nowhere, which is what we showed in figure 9, okay, or, and no need to even draw a figure of it, okay. So ups and downs of going nowhere, or worse, a gradual decline, which would be the going up in reverse, right? So when you're down, expect to go up. When you're up, expect that one day your up won't be enough to keep you happy and it will feel like a down. It's all good. Look forward to feeling better, but you don't have to force it to happen. Nature provides. It will happen all on its own. Calm down and refuse to worry about bad things that haven't happened and which may never happen. Be still and know that I am God is good advice when you're on a down. I've heard it said that if you imagine the worst that could happen, and it does, you lived it twice. So if you imagine the best that could happen and the worst happens instead, at least you only lived it once. A beautiful merging of the laws of relativity, rhythm, and polarity. And in order, we're not going to go in detail about the previous ones. I recommend, if you're new to us, go download the book and get caught up. Better yet, join the Facebook group and find some of the previous lessons that help you get caught up with what we're talking about here. Okay, but definitely beneficial to you. A beautiful merging of the laws of relativity, rhythm, and polarity. We can't just aim high and make a steady upward climb. Or excuse me, why can't we just aim high and make a steady upward climb? The fact is, we wouldn't want to. Something inside of us longs for the natural rhythms of life. It's what makes us feel. Think of a baby. You might hold him gently with his head on your shoulder, and he might be sleepy, but he is better comforted when you're in a rocking chair than on a sofa. As he drifts off to sleep, the rhythmic pressure assures him you're still there. Sometimes the same goal can be accomplished by a gentle patting on the back, slow and rhythmic, until he is finally asleep. Rhythm is soothing. Rhythm is life. Too much of the same thing makes us restless. We need change to feel alive. Sometimes the downs in life are exactly what we need to appreciate and feel the highs. And thanks to the law of relativity from chapter 2 and the law of polarity from lesson 4, even the downs can bring us joy. Visualize this. You're a passenger getting into a car. Close your eyes. No, really, close your eyes, everybody. I got to keep mine open for this, but close your eyes. Visualize this. You're a passenger getting into a car. Close your eyes. I want you to pay attention to the laws of physics that are affecting your body. Okay? So just pretend your eyes are closed. You guys actually can close them, by the way. Here we go. The engine is running, and you feel the gentle vibration. It begins to go in reverse. You feel that. Your eyes are closed, and you still know what is happening because you feel it. You stop briefly, and you feel that too. Then it is put into drive, and you're on your way. You feel the acceleration from 0 to 25 and on up to 65 miles per hour. Sort of sucks you in the back of your chair, but then the pressure isn't so strong anymore. In fact, it feels like nothing is going on. It feels just like it did before you put it in reverse in the first place. You don't feel anything. Have you stopped? No, you're just traveling at a constant speed. Whoa. All of a sudden you're thrown forward. And if you didn't know any better, you might have thought you were going backwards, but you weren't. Rather, the brakes have been applied to avoid hitting something. You only went from 65 miles an hour to 50 miles an hour. You went from feeling nothing to feeling like you were going in reverse. Pretty soon, you feel nothing again. The car is leveled out at 50 miles per hour. Oh, wait, here's a new kind of feeling. You are now pulled to the side. So far, you've only felt forward, backward, and nothing. But now you know what a change of path feels like. You have turned a corner. This analogy could go on and on. This is life. And or any kind of change is going to make you feel something. Sometimes what you feel can be deceiving. Make sure you're headed in the right direction. If you're headed in the wrong direction, make a turn. You will feel the change. It might initially be uncomfortable, but it will bring you joy. Most importantly, you make your ultimate direction onward and upward. After you've climbed a little, take notice if you stop feeling the joy that came from the climb. When you do, it is time to reach a little higher. An upward climb draws you securely back into your cushion, which feels much better than a sudden drop that brings your gut into your throat, or even the feeling that you're not going anywhere. Stagnation is miserable because there's absence of feeling. To feel requires change. To feel pure joy, make a change to a more lawful way of thinking. We all can do better in one area of our life or another. Commit to a life of upward climbing. When you level out, whether or not you're still moving forward, in order to feel again, you need to climb again. We're all seeking to feel more alive, to feel more peace, and to feel more happiness. Some turn to drug use or immorality because these things cause strong but deceptive feelings. To surrender to these temptations generates a powerful but temporary imitation of true happiness. Such feelings are counterfeit and will not last. In fact, they can leave a person craving more of the same until they become completely enslaved by the addiction. To do nothing more than experiment with such vices can even be enough to keep a person from having enough patience, diligence, and discipline to ever discover deeply satisfying, real, and lasting joy. In fact, to indulge in these forged thrills actually violates not only spiritual law, but natural law as well. A person does not have to believe in God to suffer the consequences attached to the breaking of these natural laws. A person's physical makeup is affected, and he or she will eventually suffer not just any low, but a low that is lower than the last low. The kind of punishment we receive in the hereafter depends on the degree of our understanding of the law before we decide to violate it. Regardless, the natural short term consequences will always follow, no matter how much a person knows about God. Such natural consequences can be evidence alone that the induced thrill was a counterfeit to the much stronger, more satisfying, longer lasting, genuine version God provides those who pay the price to live by law. Contrary to the ad campaigns of modern society, wickedness never was happiness. Remember that living in harmony with natural laws will bring you the greatest joys and the most long lasting happiness possible. To violate these laws will always bring pain and misery. By law, it will. Sooner or later, you can count on it. Not because the Lord delights in punishing us, but because the consequences are simply spontaneous and natural, like the 3-year-old's reaction to the thieving baby. That was a previous chapter story. If you found yourself in this kind of trap, you can get out. It will probably require outside help from your religious leader and or a professional, since the view from inside the trap is cloudy. It is hard, if not impossible, to see your way out without a guide. In fact, from inside, one may not even realize there are clouds that need clearing. When we do not improve our thought habits, we continue to experience the same kind of situations again and again, because we're trapped in a vibration that is a byproduct of darker thoughts and feelings. To pull out is often like trying to climb out of a pit of molasses, but it is possible. It all begins with your thoughts. If your thoughts disappoint you, then you can subject yourself to someone else's pure thoughts by choosing pure music, pure books, and pure movies and television programs. It is a no-fail prescription for improving your life. It might take a while to start feeling true joy because of the desensitization that comes from Satan's counterfeits. It will definitely require a lot of uplifting input into our minds to drown out the darker thoughts that may very well be dominant. We need to constantly put ourselves in good environments and choose good friends. We may not always feel comfortable there initially because our personal subconscious vibration might not be in harmony with the better environment. But good friends help elevate our thoughts so that our inner state eventually feels right at home. This is one reason why we must strive for pure thoughts, so that we will feel at home to live with our Father in heaven in the next life. How can a person so out of harmony with his laws ever be comfortable in his presence? He wants you and me to experience a joyful reunion with him and will help us prepare for that event if we strive to live his teachings. The process of preparing ourselves cannot be accomplished at a moment's notice. It takes time, and we would be wise not to procrastinate getting started. What else do we need to do if we are trapped in addictive and destructive behaviors? We need to be cautious of the kinds of music we listen to and the kinds of shows we watch. It takes time, but the change surely comes. Even though you cannot see your fingernail growing, you know that it is because you need to trim it once in a while. You might not see your personal growth, but in time you will look back and be grateful that you made a lot of little good choices along the way. By small and simple things are great things brought to pass. So let's seek the natural highs, the highs that come from living an honorable life. Serve others, do good to those who hate you, exercise your faith in God, live a disciplined life, believe. No temporary unlawful thrill could ever match the exhilaration of diligent effort toward striving to live more like Jesus Christ. The happiness he promises is long lasting. Stay away from Satan's counterfeits. Since I'm not perfect, I've had to enjoy this counsel in my life too. I expect I'll need to do throughout my life as would anybody. Still, I can testify that to submit to the will of the Lord brings profound peace and joy. It's so worth the effort. The law of rhythm guarantees that you will feel ups and downs, but as you learn to live by law, you can ensure that your lows are only the absence of a high. This can keep you climbing, and that's a good thing. Take inventory. So where are you today? Are you on a high or a low, or feeling sort of level? What is one thing you could do to help yourself feel some pure joy? And what I recommend everybody, whether you're on a high or a low, is go do something today, or promise yourself and promise me that you will go do something that is fun, not counterfeit fun, okay? But something that is truly fun that you enjoy doing. Promise yourself that you will do that within the next 24 hours. That will also help bring you up into a higher vibration. It's one of the pieces of advice I usually give people that I'm coaching, because a lot of times people are trying to work way too hard and they don't take time to have fun and they deplete themselves. So I recommend that you take the time to do something fun. So put it on your list and make sure you do it in the next 24 hours. In the first 5 lessons, we discussed quite deeply how our thoughts affect our circumstances. This lesson leads us well into our next lesson, where we will discuss the law that helps us understand what our actions are doing to our results. The law of cause and effect. So from a time perspective, so that I leave you guys time for questions and comments, I think we will wait to dive into this one. All right. So some of you are brand new with us, but several of you have been with us over and over again. Thanks for coming back. This is the time we have right now to share our comments, share our experiences, share our ahas, share whatever it is that maybe you got out of what we've been reading, and or to ask questions related to what we've been reading and studying, and or how to manifest more money and wealth in your life. So what you do is just come off mute, start asking your question or giving your comment, and I'll take you in the order that you do that. If 2 of you appear to do that at the same time, then I'll pick one of you and the next person can go next. So just come off mute and share whatever it is that you would like to share. Now's the time. Or we can play the shy silent game.
Well, hello, it's Sophia.
Hi, Sophia.
Hello, everyone. I guess I've needed help with how to manifest properly,
Okay.
how to meditate and vision, and how do we do it without all the blockers? Because you can get in meditation, or for me myself, and then I have all these extra thoughts that I don't want to just have rambling around. I want to just kind of manifest and focus on my vision and focus on what I want. So
Okay.
how can I do that properly?
Interestingly enough, when you say properly, I think that in and of itself is um, a little bit of a misnomer, because different people will do it successfully in different ways. But I can definitely give you some ideas that tend to work with this. Let me ask you, Sophia, what is it, for instance, that you would like to manifest? Just give me something that's important to you right now.
Okay. Finance. Let's say I want to manifest at least $1 million to pay off my house, get out of debt. So
Okay.
that's been my focus.
So is your focus on the $1 million, or is your focus on paying off the house and getting out of debt?
Getting out of debt.
Okay. Um, You might want to slap me when I'm done. Okay. That is the worst thing you could possibly focus on if you want to fix your financial life.
Okay.
Because what from a subconscious standpoint, your subconscious mind doesn't determine right, wrong, good or bad. And neither does when we talk about God in the universe, I personally believe that God and the universe are separate things, but they both are in play when it comes to money and wealth. Okay. What do I mean by that? The universe it's been referred to in different books as a lot of different things. Okay. But from a scientific standpoint, I'm just going to call it energy or matter. Everything is made out of the same stuff. Okay. And that stuff actually responds to the thoughts that we have via the vibration that we're putting out because of that thought. And the thing that happens with us is the vibration we put out, we can know if it's going to bring us what we want or not what we want based upon how we feel. That's our way of knowing, is the message we're putting out into the universe. I'm not saying what we're asking God for. That we're always putting a message out to the universe, always. And it's based upon our thought process. And again, that creates a vibration, but we only understand if it's a good or bad vibration by our feeling. All right. God, my personal belief, you don't have to believe it exactly the way I do for this to work for you. Okay. But I want to share with you that I believe God is someone very similar to us once upon a time. Okay. What do I mean by that? I believe that God actually had the opportunity to live a life very similar to ours, but God has now progressed way past that point. I don't know how long ago it was that he was living similar to the way we do, but I believe that we personally, like when we die here on earth, I don't think we just poof out of existence. I believe that we continue on and that we will do other things. We will not be done with our progression. Okay. We'll continue to learn and grow. It'll just be in a different plane than it is where we are right now. Okay. So God has already passed this life up, and he's been in that plane of continuing to progress. I'm going to make up a number just because the number doesn't even matter. And he's done it for 100,000 years now. Well, do you think if we live to be 100,000 years old, year after year after year, we might actually learn more and become more than we are today? Of course we would. Okay. So God has figured out how to utilize all the laws that already exist in the universe. And God, because he has a complete and total understanding of how they work, he has no doubts, no fears. So when he actually says that he wants something to happen, he knows how to utilize the laws in harmony with each other so that whatever it is that he chooses to have happen can take however much time he wants it to take. Sometimes it's going to be instantaneous, and sometimes it's going to be over a period of time based upon his wisdom and knowledge of how he wants things to unfold. But if he needs something to show up instantaneously, it will for him. Okay. So having that is what we're talking about. I need to come back to the universe, come back to the energy side of this, and to matter and energy. God is a person we pray to. We don't pray to energy and matter. That stuff doesn't think, that stuff responds. We pray to God. Why? Because he actually knows how it all works. And he's the one who can guide and direct us so that we do it successfully too. He can also help us when we fall short and make up the difference for us to help us get the outcome that we want. Okay. But the universe itself, when I say universe, I'm talking about the energy that we're all made out of. Like your hand and your glass of water are both made out of the same thing. They're made out of the same energy. They're just arranged in a different order. Okay. But anyhow, let's go back to what you're focusing on then. Debt. I want to get out of debt. When the universe doesn't hear that, it only hears debt. And so what it wants to bring you is more debt. So if your goal is to get out of debt, here's what the universe actually hears. Your goal is to spend the rest of your life getting out of debt. Therefore, it's going to create more debt for you, so you have something to get out of. Do you hear that, Sophia?
Yes. Okay.
So, but you didn't know any better, so it's okay. I mean, it's not okay. It's not okay in the sense of, well, I didn't know any better. Why am I being punished for it? You're the little child that's crawled off the edge of the counter, so to speak. So what you want to do is have a different focus that will actually bring you what you do want. You might think you want $1 million. I bet you don't. What you want is what you believe the $1 million can do for you. That's what you really want.
Right.
What you want is a home, either the one you currently own paid off, or one that's different than the one you live in, that's maybe nicer. But what we want is, we want a few things in life. We want to be what we can become. And we have all these possibilities within us that nudge at us, telling us we could become and do different things. So we want to be things, we want to do things, and we want to have things. And we get those nudges, those actually come from God. as long as they're positive things, they're coming from God. Okay. So he's nudging you, saying, hey, Sophia, you're capable of being more, doing more, and having more. So that creates some desire for you. So now what you've got to do is utilize that desire and say, okay, cool, this is what I really want. I already know that God's behind me on being willing to help me receive this. What I now need to do is learn how to think in such a way that the vibration I'm putting out into the universe, in the energy, isn't in opposition to what it is that I want. Then you got one other player in this game that's affecting all that's going on. And it's a gift that you've been given that can be your greatest friend or your greatest enemy, and that's your subconscious mind. God blessed us with a subconscious mind on purpose. Okay. What does our subconscious mind essentially do for us? It is designed to help us put things on autopilot. What do I mean by that? Let me share, for instance, with you. Anybody on here can answer. Okay. What's 3 times 9?
27.
27.
4 times 6.
24.
24.
7 times 7.
49.
9.
Awesome. You guys are all amazing. How did you know that? I'll tell you why you're so amazing, okay? You're so amazing because once upon a time, depending on what age you are right now, how long that once upon a time was, we were sitting in a class. we were in school somewhere, probably. And we were shown the times tables. And when we first saw them, we're like, what the heck is this thing? Right? I mean, we were a little younger, so we probably didn't say it exactly that way, but we're like, huh? And then our teacher had us repeat things and do exercises to where we memorize those. Let me ask another question. If it comes to anybody's mind instantly, please pop on and say it. What's 347 times 639? Exactly. Okay. Now, somebody on here might be a math whiz and their brain works that way and could have spit it out just as easy as the times tables. But for the majority of us, could we figure that out? Yes, we could take a calculator. Some of us could do it in our head with a little bit of time, because we actually put like a little chart in our head and we see numbers or figures and things. The other is we could write it down, and we know we could take small multiplication and get it figured out. The point is, though, we don't spit it off the top of our tongue, right? Why is that? Because it wasn't repetitive enough for us, because we don't see numbers like that very often. So we weren't really told. We were told the basics, and we're basically taught up to 12 by 12. Like after 12 times 12, we're done. I was done at like 11 times 11. Okay.
That's true.
I had trouble with 12 times 12 for some reason. Okay. But anyhow, from 1 up to 12, because it was repetitive, we can bring it up now. Even I'm 52 years old today. And when I hear these things, it's still, my mind almost immediately goes to whatever the number is without me having to go try and actually do the math. That's because my subconscious mind took in that repetition, implanted it, and said, this must be important because you've been telling me this over and over and over and over again. Therefore, this must be true. Therefore, this must be normal. Therefore, I'm going to keep this at the forefront of your mind forever until you change it and tell me that it's incorrect. And the only way you're going to convince me it's incorrect is you've got to show me that all these years it's been wrong. And you got to show me what's correct. The same thing with tying a shoe, right? Over and over and over again. But we could go for a few years with shoes that we don't have to tie, but we go to put a shoe on that we tie, and we're going to be able to do it. I had one friend that I talked to about this recently. Somebody was coaching. He goes, I never got good at tying my shoes, so I still suck at it. And that's interesting because that's how the subconscious mind functions. So the subconscious mind doesn't determine good, bad, right, or wrong. The subconscious mind actually wants to do it. Its sole purpose is to keep you safe and protected and to help you master things so you don't have to think so hard about the steps that you're making, like riding a bike. If you've learned how to ride it at one point and you're pretty good at it, you could go years without doing it, and then you could do it again. And people go, that's why we have the saying, oh, it's just like riding a bike, right? Same thing goes with driving and anything else that we do. Once upon a time, it was hard. Now it's subconscious. We could literally hop in the car, go down the road, get somewhere, and not remember anything that happened on our way there because we were totally thinking of something different. And yet somehow we made it from point A to point B. Subconscious works that way. So the results you currently have in your life right now are predominantly, probably all the way up to 97% of those, at least 95% of them, are automatic autopilot for you, because that's the gift you were given through your subconscious mind. It just tries to keep you safe and protected, and it wants things to stay normal for you. If you repeat something often enough, it will eventually accept it and say, that must be really important to this person, so I'm going to now make that autopilot for you. The cool thing about it is if you are struggling with the way things are financially right now, it's almost 100% certain it's in relationship to what your subconscious mind has received as programming. So your subconscious mind is going to fight against that for now. When you're trying to change it, because you're trying to say, I'm rich, your subconscious mind says, no, you're not. You're trying to say, yes, I am. And it says, no, you're not. And so you're trying to use your willpower to get rich instead of your God power. Using your willpower to try and get rich, your subconscious mind, if you slug it out, will always win. If you're able to take your income from $40,000 this year all the way up to $100,000 through sheer willpower and setting goals and strength and fight with your subconscious mind this year, next year your subconscious mind will bring you back down closer to 40, or it might even drop you below 40, or it will slowly bring you down until your subconscious mind is convinced that 100,000 is actually normal for you. Because anything that it doesn't consider to be normal for you, your subconscious mind considers to be a danger to you. And your subconscious mind's purpose is to protect you and keep you safe. So what we've got to do then is use our God power to change what's going on. And that's where we can utilize the visualization power that we have and the ability to choose what we want. But we've got to be a little more, say, sneaky sort of in the way that we present it to the subconscious mind so that it starts accepting it. But once we get our subconscious mind to accept anything, even if it's a lie, anything, once our subconscious mind believes anything to be true, the subconscious mind then goes to work and tries to make that autopilot for you. So if the amount of money you've made for the last several years is 40,000 and you want it to be 100,000 for a year, once you're able to successfully get your subconscious mind to receive that message and believe it, it will go help make sure that no matter what, you will make at least $100,000 a year. And that's why some of the people that do have some dips, as long as it wasn't new programming into their subconscious mind, it's just kind of a little dip in the road, That person may have a down year, but they will eventually, or a down week or a down month, they will jump right back up to that 100,000 very quickly. And you wonder why that is so easy for them, because it's become subconscious. So going back to what it is that we should focus on what we want, not what we don't want. And one of the best things that I like to do, if I were trying to manifest, getting out of debt and a home, you need to be pretty specific. If you're in the home already, terrific. If it's a new home, you want to get really specific about what that new home would be like. It doesn't have to be a specific home per se, but you have to have an understanding of what that home would be like. And in your visualization, you don't stare at a house, you don't stare at rooms, you don't stare at a backyard. In your visualization and in working to impress this on your subconscious, you joyfully go live in that house right now, as if you've already owned it for a while. And you go do the things in that house right now that you would already be doing if you've been living there for a while. Go in your kitchen and make meals in that kitchen if that's something you like to do. Go use your laundry room, use your garage, use your pool or your jacuzzi. Have friends over at your house if that's what you like. Go use your house in your mind exactly the same way you're going to use it when it's physically yours anyway. But you don't use it in your subconscious mind. You don't use it, in your visualizing as if it's something in the future. You go use it as if, again, you've already had it for a while. And this is just naturally what you would be doing with that house. Okay, so the debts and things you want to get out of. Chances are, potentially, let's say that you have a car payment or a credit card that you want to pay off. Let's go credit card, because they're not particularly fun. And they're not something really people get all that excited about. So what do I do about that one? How can I get that paid off? Well, use your imagination. Decide that when that card is paid off or is down to a certain balance or something, that you're going to have a party of some sort. Not one where you go spend everything that you took off of the credit card and go spend the money all over again. Don't do that. But in your mind, celebrate and talk in your mind to people that are your friends that you would actually tell in real life once you had that paid off. Hey, Sally, I wanted to share something with you. What's that? The credit card that I owe $10,000 on? Yeah, no more. What do you mean? Not only is it down to zero balance, but once I did that, they called me up and they offered to raise it to $20,000, which I thought was hilarious. But I've went ahead and accepted it because it sounds like God's trying to give me something. I'm going to be wise with how I use it. But isn't that amazing? And Sally's like, yes. Now, did you physically go talk to Sally? No, you did that in your visualization. You celebrated with the people in your life and you shared with them what you would be sharing with them as if it already happened. So whatever it is that you want in your life, I say that a good idea would be to now go live as if you've already done it, you already have it, or you already are it, as if it's already been that way for a while. Or create some form of celebration around accomplishing it and celebrate the celebration and visualize the celebration. But don't try and visualize yourself paying off your cards. Don't try and visualize yourself doing the work required to do this stuff. That's not actually going to accomplish it. What you're reinforcing there in your image in your subconscious mind is that you like doing the work instead of you like having the results. Is any of what I said helpful to anybody here?
Yes,
Yeah.
Kevin.
For sure.
Oh my goodness, you just changed everything.
That was awesome.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. I love the part when you said live it, because even with the let's say I'm trying to win the lottery and I can vision the house that I'm going to live in, but I'm the one that be looking at those rooms. I'm the one to be looking at the house. So when you say actually live like you already had it, that just broke something for me right there.
Awesome. And you know what happens, Sophia, when you do that? Don't focus on the lottery. And here's why I'll tell you not to. There are some people that do win it. Okay. But let me tell you what else you're dealing with, because people ask me a little bit about the lottery. Can you win it? Yeah, you can. Okay. But here's what you're fighting against at a subconscious level. There are billions, not millions, but billions of people on planet Earth. Billions of people on planet Earth who have the belief that it's nearly impossible to win the jackpot. They all want it, but their belief is that it's nearly impossible. And they're all putting out that vibration to the world. Not like every day they're thinking, but that's the consensus vibration going out into the world, that it's nearly impossible to win that. Interestingly enough, if you Google who's won the lottery and people that won jackpots more than once, they absolutely defy any form of like odds. I mean, the odds don't exist in that case, right? So there have been people that have won more than once. Why did that happen? Only because their subconscious has been imprinted with the ability to do that. And they've been able to do it to the point where they're able to ignore the vibration in opposition of the billions of people on the planet. I would say this, okay. The reason you want to win the lottery is you don't want to go through the hassle of life any longer. You just want a big pile of money sitting there to do what you want to do. God in the universe will deliver it to you much more satisfactorily, more easily, and you won't have the fear of loss behind it if you do it in the creative way, which is following the laws that I'm talking about. So the better thing to do is decide very specifically what you want, as close as to specific as you can get. Some people are like into the minutest detail. Hey, do the best that you can. The universe is going to deliver to you that which is in alignment with the feeling and vibration you're putting out. So it's essentially trying to mirror that as closely as it can. I also like to put in, when I'm asking God for something and for his help in the universe, this or something better. That way, if I'm asking for something that really isn't for my highest and best good because something else would be even better, I leave myself open to receiving that. And that's happened to me many, many times where I thought I wanted something and what I got was definitely better than what I was even asking for. But what I would do is, again, the money isn't what we really truly want typically. We want what we can do with the money, okay? So don't put money in there as the step necessary to receiving it. Just go live it as if you already been that way for a while, and live your life in your mind as if it has already happened. And this is how your life really is when you do your meditation, your visualization. And then let God in the universe decide what channels to deliver it to you. It might be the lottery. That's when you do it. It's not when you play it and then you try and say, okay, I'm going to win, I'm going to win, I'm going to play it, I'm going to win. It's when you never have played it in your life, and it's the one time in your entire life that God says to you, go buy a ticket, and you do it. Funny enough, a lot of times those are the people that win it, only because God was telling them this time, go do it. But then they try and do it over and over and over again, and it doesn't work out. Why? Because now you're trying to force all your good to come through the same channel, and God doesn't really care about that. God and the universe are like, my channels are unlimited because I'm the source. Don't try and force me to give you your good through the channel you think it should come through. Let me give it to you the easiest way I can. And it's going to be, and I will guide you to know what that is. You won't know necessarily all the detail, but you will be given the inspiration, the revelation, the intuition to know when the time's right, what is my step in going to be to receive what it is that I want. What is my first step in what should I go do now? And then I'm going to follow along that way as I receive that guidance. And if I don't receive anything totally specific, I'm going to go head in that direction, knowing that if I get off track, God's going to nudge me back the way I need to go to receive what I want.
Kevin, I have a question.
Awesome.
Okay. By the way, hang on one second, everybody. So we're definitely over time. I'm going to stick around for a little longer, but if you're brand new, I don't want you feeling like you're being held hostage. Okay. The recording will be there in Facebook. the reading we did is done, and essentially you got what you want to get. However, as you guys can tell now, people like to stick around for a while and ask questions, and I stick around for a reasonable amount of time if I can. So, okay, now go ahead.
Just because of what you said, okay? That's just because of what you said. So one of the things that I want to do with all of my wealth is to take care of my mom. And I don't want her living alone anymore. And I'm picturing all kinds of wonderful things that we're doing together, and we're traveling and all this greatness. I've also pictured taking her to the bank with a fancy dress on to sign off her mortgage. I'm paying off her mortgage, and we're going to celebrate by having a brunch. So you just said I shouldn't be picturing that. So I just want to just clarify that, because I actually pictured taking her and writing that check and having everyone happy and then
No, I
celebrate.
said you shouldn't be picturing that. I said you should be picturing.
You said when you were just speaking, you were saying not to picture paying off the debt.
Well, okay. So it's okay to picture writing a check to pay something off like that, okay?
Okay.
Because what you're not doing is picturing where that money's coming from.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's fine.
Okay.
Because if you were paying off a mortgage, somebody's going to physically make a deposit somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So go picture making the deposit for the amount of money. Just don't try and figure out where it's going to come from.
No, I don't do that. I just visualize the happiness that I feel.
Exactly.
Being able to take care of my mom and then celebrating that event.
Yes, that's totally, matter of fact, that's one of the most powerful things you can do.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Questions or comments? Okie dokie.
Well, I try to give room for other people, but this, I have a lot of questions. Okay, well, I guess this would be my last question. Is it okay to have several things that we focus on?
Okay, so
Let's say it's not the money, so I'm focused on I want to travel the world and be a speaker. I focus on I want to buy a home. I focus on all these things. Is it good to focus on a bunch of things at one time, or the main thing that we desire?
Okay, so here's what I would share for everybody to do. Okay. You're going to focus on everything for a very, very short period of time. And then you're going to choose some things and you're going to choose just the one or two things, not that'll come up as most important right now for you. And those are going to shift over time as you receive those into your life. So go find, if you got something to write with, Sophia, write this down. Some of you guys have already heard this. I know Landon mentioned he was trying to finish it up. You're going to look up Steve Harvey. So you're going to type this into YouTube, not just Google. Go into YouTube and type in Steve Harvey 300 list. I know that's not the name of the video exactly, but he is going to talk. Do you know who Steve Harvey is, Sophia?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the Family Feud guy and all the other stuff. Okay, that's Steve Harvey. So type into YouTube Steve Harvey 300 list. He's going to give you an exercise. You're going to watch a video. It's not particularly long. He's going to give you an exercise to do. Do it. He's going to tell you to write down at least 300 things that you want.
Okay.
Don't stop until you've done at least 300. I mean, when I say stop, I mean you can go bathroom, go sleep, right? But don't be like, oh, I'm at 75 or 80 or 100 and it's not coming to me, I give up. Don't stop. Watch his video once every day and then go do it until you're done.
Okay.
Okay. Then the next thing you're going to do, you're going to go again into YouTube and you're going to type in It Works book. It Works book. And you're going to find someone, or if you want to read it, you can type in to Google It Works PDF, free PDF or whatever, and you'll be able to find a free copy of it. If you actually go into our Facebook group and scroll down far enough, we actually went through this the day after Thanksgiving, the It Works book. So it's short enough that it can actually be read in about 15 minutes, or you can listen to it on audio for about 15 minutes. But you're going to do, after what Steve Harvey, what you've done for him, you're going to move over to this one, and he's still going to tell you to write everything down. Well, at this point, you've now written a bunch of stuff down, so you're good there. The next step he's going to tell you is to narrow it down and write them in order of importance. Don't take 300 things and do that. I don't think you'll ever finish while you live here on this planet. That's not what that's meant to do. But you will take that and you'll break it down to kind of a top 10 list. And then within the top 10 list, you're going to choose the one thing at the top, no more than 2, to be your focus, not forever, but for now. Some of these other things that you wrote down out of the 300, they're going to happen anyway without your effort. They're going to show up. I'm not going to take the time now to tell you how many and what all those things have showed up. Steve Harvey says at least 10% over the next year will probably show up. I would say he's pretty darn correct on that, based on my experience. I had a car show up for free, and I'm not talking about somebody's junker. Okay, I'm talking about a $130,000 car. I had an airplane ride in a private plane show up for free, just because I did what I'm
Wow.
telling you to do. Yeah, and I didn't pay for those. But I've also had, if you really get back to my story when this started to work for me, I also had my income go from $5,000 to $6,000 a month up to $50,000 a month within a period of a few months, once I started getting myself programmed correctly. But that's what I recommend that you guys do, is follow those 2 things. Steve Harvey, till you get the list done, watch the video every day, don't give up, get your 300 done, then shift over to It Works and listen to that each day till you've got your top, your list in order, the top 10 most important. And then you're going to take again the 1 or 2 at the top. I would stick with even 1 if it's super, super important, because I've remember how what the subconscious purpose is. It's to put things on, it's to keep you safe and protected, but it's also to put things on autopilot for you. And you're going to do that, and you want to impress your subconscious. Well, what you don't want to try and do is impress your subconscious with everything at once, because it's just not going to be as efficient, and it will take longer for your subconscious mind to accept it. But by being more focused, you can get your subconscious mind to accept things more easily. So it's good to have a million things that you want, but some of us don't want to actually make a decision about what's most important because we have FOMO, fear of missing out. If I choose this, that means I didn't choose that. Don't look at it that way. Look at it this way. I'm an eternal being. I'm going to live on planet Earth for approximately 100 years, maybe more. And I'm going to live after this life too. And I'm going to continue to progress. So there is no need to rush or hurry with anything. What I want to do is master things. I want things to become autopilot for me. Therefore, I'm going to take things one at a time as they're important to me, and work until my subconscious mind is actually helping me receive it instead of fighting me on getting it. And there's a lot more but when I coach somebody one-on-one, there's a lot more that I do with them that I can do with you guys, in the time that I'm here with you. But every single person that I have coached one-on-one within a year or less is more than 10 times their investment in the coaching that they received. So I would just say that if you want to do something like that, you could reach out to me through my email, coachkevinsparks@gmail.com, and we could have a discussion. But that's my profession, so understand it's not free. but I've been doing this, helping and coaching people and helping them get what they want financially, going all the way back for, 15 years now. So this isn't new to me, helping people get what they want. All right. I am going to cut you guys loose, and hopefully you will come back and we will all be together tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for spending this time with us.
Hey, Kevin,
Thank you so much.
I have a
Awesome
question for you.
info.
Okay, I'll go ahead. Somebody else can't go to sleep.
Yeah,
tonight.
sorry.
Thanks a lot,
Ask the
Kevin.
question. Yes, Renee, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I just joined your group. I mean, I did join, but this is the first day that I have
Oh,
to.
welcome.
Yeah, thanks. So I feel like I'm just walking in the middle of something.
Okay.
I know that you probably have a YouTube thing, so how do I,
How do you
is
find
there,
us? Okay, let me
or
hop into my,
yeah, I'd like to see what your introduction is like, your story and so forth.
perfect, yes. I'm gonna share something on my screen for you really quick, okay? So we have a Facebook group that has the same name as the meetup here. So it's called I Want to Be Really Rich and I Do Not Apologize for It. Go find that and join us. What I want to do, would you do me a favor, Sophia? I can send you a YouTube video that will help you
Wait,
understand
hold
what you
on, I'm
got.
sorry. I think
sorry,
somebody
Renee,
needs to take their,
I mean,
I
Renee.
think that, yes, I think there's somebody needs to take themselves off on the microphone. There was a lot of noise in the back.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's all right. Do me a favor, Renee. Did you get my email address? Coach Kevin's, do you have something to write with?
Yes.
Okay, it's really simple. It's Coach Kevin Sparks. That's my name, KevinSparks. So Coach Kevin Sparks @gmail.com. Send me a quick email and then I will send you over some information so you can know exactly what you just asked. How's that? Perfect. All right. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate you asking for that. All right, everybody. You have an amazing, wonderful day. And Renee, go ahead and send that. And then within a few minutes of that, I'll get you what you asked for. Okay? All
Thank you.
You're welcome. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.